So we'll start
Okay.
from the beginning
Just
again. Wow.
one question. Do you hear I have someone doing the lawn. Is it loud or you
No, no,
don't?
not at all. Not at all.
Okay, I'm gonna close one more window, okay? So
Okay.
that
Okay.
really
Yeah.
clear. Yeah. And then I'd love to share. Hold on.
So I'll repeat the question. So what has happened since the last time that we talked?
Okay, so last time we talked, I came to you in a complete disaster mode. I felt
Yeah.
so depressed and I felt so not knowing where to go. And I realized that I've been literally going to anybody and everybody that I could go to in terms of being a seeker, any guru, anything you name it, I've been. And then I came to non-duality, and that's been another huge journey because I just couldn't understand what it means not to be an I, a me, and the drop of the I. So I've spent many, many years after I had one non-duality teacher. I went to many more years to just listen to every single one. And then I could kind of feel myself elevated for a moment.
Yeah.
And I could clean my house and I could have them in my ears and I could do all these things. But the next hour or two, I was gone again. I was back into, it's just not possible. I can never be whatever I felt. I wanted to feel lighter. I wanted to be more present. I couldn't feel it. And I remembered that I had a moment when I was with you in the very beginning. And I just remember I could feel there was just a poof and there was a lightness. But that was that moment where in between the beliefs and I couldn't understand it. So I kept on going again and again and again. And there was just carousel after carousel,
Yeah.
speaker after speaker. And it took not just so much time, but it was like I had ignored life. I couldn't live. I lived around the message and I lived around that again, you're failing it.
Oh.
And again, there's no chance. And at one point, I just even didn't want to hear your videos anymore because they were also in my memory field still.
Yeah.
So many people. So I didn't want to go there. But one day I went to your channel just like that. And I listened and I go like, oh my God, this is completely different. This is
Yeah.
not the old Emerson. And
Yeah.
I heard what you were saying. And it was an instant moment of understanding because I felt I knew this a long time ago, but it was that moment where I just felt when you said what you say, it's just not past, it's not future, it's just this here now in between whatever beliefs we're holding. And it was just, and from that moment on, I said thank you. And I started to listen to your playlists and I started to listen and just feeling again you being. And I felt that all along. And I felt that I needed to personally connect with you. And when I did connect, I was really, really, really like almost like I don't know how to live this life. And I've been there before.
Yeah. You look so different. You were just
So
so distraught, right? And I'm like, what
after
happened? Yeah.
after then I felt, really quickly I was able to release in person with you the frustration and the anger and sadness. But it was very clear that I understood that for me, I'm not saying that about, but for me, I've been in so many meetings with so many beings and I saw how I I just didn't make sense to me because every time I would come off a meeting, I could feel a certain instant. And then even though I knew I'm nothing, I have nothing, there's no one, there's no love, there is love, all of it. But it didn't help
It
when
became
you,
dogmatic. It became
yeah,
dogmatic.
the
Yeah.
more I understood what that meant, it's like it's it's the words spoken in a certain way. You think you have to, it has to be that way. And even though it's not always like that, but I could feel that even in the energy field of some of the speakers, they sometimes they hold like that for the ones who are super vulnerable, and
Yeah.
not everybody, it can become difficult.
Yeah.
And when it's difficult for someone that's vulnerable, it can almost be dangerous.
Violent.
It can be.
Yeah.
And it's like I understood that after we had our talk, it was just something was offered where I could play with.
Yeah.
If I were to say I'm going to sober up from everything that I've been doing,
Yeah.
everything that I've been listening, just to give it a try, and I kept on listening and then listening again, it just started to become more natural.
Yeah.
And now it's like maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, and I really feel so grateful because when I came to you, I didn't want to speak, I didn't want to be heard,
Yeah.
I didn't want to be recorded. And today I feel like if it can support someone, that it doesn't have to be long and difficult. And if you have an intuition that maybe, yes, but I'm every meeting and I'm still not getting this, it doesn't have to be that way. The speakers are all perfect as they are.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong about them at all. But there is people like me who maybe, even though I always felt like I know, I
Yeah. Yeah.
understand, I didn't, so you
Yeah.
grasp every word in an energetic field. And if that word is not doing it for you, then gotta go to the next, gotta go to the next. And I
Yeah.
realized even within this couple of weeks, like, what if I had moments to, like you say, there's a moment when you want to take your walks. You want to maybe feel that there's less of thoughts
Yeah.
coming in, and just do these walks and just start to feel how this is if I'm on my own, because I
Yeah.
always am so dependent on the speaker.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you literally need someone though that is, and then there it comes back to you. It's like um you'll literally, you're not saying anything, you're not infusing anything, you're not making anybody have to believe anything of your words, but what you're doing is you're picking someone up exactly where they're at,
Yeah.
and then you're allowing them to feel the way you say it so that it's possible to be felt and seen.
Yeah.
And then there's an opportunity for me to go out and just play with this a little bit and understand, oh, wow. And everyone I come in contact with right now that I
Yeah.
feel it in a search, it's like, I know they can't quite always go right to where your point, it's not even
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're saying,
Yes.
but it's like, it's just so simple. And for us who have been with so many speakers, it's definitely, you're a huge ally to make people become free. They don't have to live another 30 years or 20 years or 10 years or 5 months or 2 months. It's instant.
Yeah. It's instant and it's unbelievable, right? But it's it's unthinkable, but that's what it is.
It is.
That's what it is. And you can't put any kind of narratives to it.
No.
And and then we the seeker keeps on listening to all the language, all the speaking, all the cadence, all of the um jargon, and that just creates so much confusion, right? So even when I think I was mentioning the last time that the Q&A does not make sense anymore, it's nonsense, right? Because it proposes that someone knows or someone understands and you don't.
Yeah, it does.
And and that's what it's what what is glaringly obvious is the person that's pretending to know is does not know anything. I don't
Yeah.
know anything, but at least I admit it.
Yeah.
There's humility, in gratitude as well. That you know what, this can't be known.
Can't be known. And when someone is very sensitive, it goes, oh my God, this can't be known.
Yeah,
This can't be known. So that's what's resonating then in that person, which
yeah,
has for me, but
yeah,
when you say that this can't be known, you're not letting someone be in that
yeah,
energy field.
yeah,
You're actually at the same point
yeah. And I'll say
today.
something like I'll add something. What's between
Yeah,
knowing and not knowing? What's in between that?
exactly.
And then we arrive at the same place. I don't have any knowledge. You don't have any knowledge, and that's okay because there's some clarity here that can't be said. And then
Exactly.
in that clarity, there's no hierarchy. There's no speaker that knows, and there's no seeker that doesn't know. So there is this um equanimity that is just beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And it's not hierarchy anymore, right? It's because it's codependency when you think that someone has the powerful words that you have to get. Just keep on chasing words, and but when the words are making you suffer
Mm-hmm.
because you're believing in contracted energy. Did you believe in that too, the contracted energy thing? Because
Yeah,
you heard it a lot in the speakers,
of
right?
course, in the beginning, you pick up everything, and even that in the beginning was, oh yeah, I understand, but ultimately, I just I was becoming aware how this is just another language, like another. These words are really just, and I understand, and it has its purpose on some level, but once there was seen that there is another way, that
Yeah,
when it came back out with this, I was always hoping for something like this because I
yeah,
understood its beliefs. I understand that beliefs can make things become more real. I
yeah.
understand that. And I was previously even teaching all about that it doesn't matter what,
Yeah.
but it totally clearly understood so simply that there is this way as well, and that if you trust and give yourself a moment to just hear you and just let yourself be guided by you for a moment, and then you do, like for me it was clear that there's no past, no future, and there's just this, and you say it many many times really quickly, and it feels like, oh, but then when he's not here, then I don't know how to do this. But there's something about that if you can just grasp these two things,
It's so simple.
who are you without the past, who are you without the future, there's just in
Yeah.
between the two beliefs comes in, just so simple. And if you do this a few times, and if you need more, if I need more help or support, like you said, just call me back up.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
knew I wanted to do that because I didn't know why, but I could feel that there's an opening to me to speak to you, so that if I can be of service to anybody, then it would be worth it for me to say
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. You know what? I was just talking to someone earlier, and said that you were so happy when someone else was doing it, right?
Yeah,
Because I don't have any claim to it, right?
yeah,
Because I'm not going to say that this is an open secret, but only a few can speak about it,
yeah,
right? There has to be some kind of like authority figure
yeah,
that lords over it, and and creates this idea that someone's wrong
yeah,
and someone's right,
yeah,
right? And it creates this snobby community that
yeah. It's
that condemns anyone that does not say the message, right? Or puts them down. They're not talking about the message. And if guess what, they're just really riding on a belief system, and they don't see it that it's just another belief system. that there's really no clarity. It's muddied by someone's belief system that has been trickled down and copied over and over and over again. Um,
Yeah.
and it just becomes this hierarchy, this authority, this gatekeeping. You're not free because there's a me. There's a contracted energy. There's a me there. You know, and and people are so vulnerable that they don't even see the contradictions in what's being said. It's all contradictory because um, if they really believe in what they say, then there'll be no speaking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what's
And
being expressed here, you know what? It's all innocence as well, because those are
it is,
just words. And it's beautiful at the same time. But at the same time, it can be dangerous because you can get into that loop of kind of like what you were doing, right? You were addicted to the words of the speakers and you were believing a lot of them. And it's almost like you had to sober up from the ideas of all of those so that you can see clarity without my influence because we went there at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I can see is, and I understand that very well, is also because in some ways, when you are in a Zoom with many people, there is that feeling of community, which is
Yeah,
something
that's what it
that,
is.
we like, we need that. And so I don't speak that a speaker needs that necessarily, but there is this sense, and you feel, oh, at least there's others, and you think, you for a long time you hear this one, that one, and oh my God, she got, but all these things. But I understand in this context, within regards to non-duality and feeling it's great to be in a community. It can be great because I understand speakers to have each other
Yeah.
and fun with talking this way, or trying to help someone to maybe help them see,
Yeah.
you know. But at the same time, I feel even that, um what and that's personal, it's very personal, but it's like, once I really start to resonate with what I received when I was with you last time, it's almost, there is a part of like being, and this is a word, so I don't want to make that word into anything, but it's like a mystic that can go on its own. It doesn't have to have its headphones on every day it walks on the beach. It doesn't have to have
Yeah.
all the time. It becomes his own, as all the beings that are actually speaking about it, who have made that experience, and
Yeah.
they can truly feel
Yeah.
that resonating with what they're, but to be able to at one point have had moments right now where I was like, oh, I gotta take my phone, I gotta take my thing, and I go, no, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Leave it here. It's an addiction. You don't need to listen right now. Leave it here. Give it a moment. Give it
Yeah.
a try. See how it feels. And that's what I'm starting to see, because there is the beauty when it comes to my own, even my, like we were speaking in the beginning, the uncomfortableness doesn't mean
Yeah.
that here, or the worries or certain things, but like you were sharing with me, these are also all parts of it. And I know nobody negates that of the speakers, but it is something to understand that the deep, um yeah, I don't want to use words, because again, then I would just
Yeah.
in the space, but there
Yeah.
is this depth that I feel is there for everyone in a very simple way, and it's
Yeah.
not given words. It's just, here is something, and I can offer you this, and here I
Yeah.
am playing
Yeah.
with, and so that's all there is. And
And
then I,
it's so beautiful when you know when there is when the speaker and the seeker loses their labels and here we are talking as friends.
yeah,
Yeah. Here
totally,
we are talking as equals, right? And I'm like looking forward to you sharing, you know what I'm saying, a version of this authentically your you know what I'm saying, because I know you like helping others as well, and that unfolding in that authenticity is just not caught up in the idea that someone's got it better than you or someone is higher than you. It all flattens down into this equality. And yeah, you know, because it's and it's funny what you when you mentioned about community, because there's this gathering together, thinking alike, and that's why you're in the community. But when one person's belief system gets challenged, or when a person challenges the belief system, that person is left out.
Totally.
Totally. It's I noticed that, in many different appearances of it, right? It's like, um one person, for example, starts talking authentically, then they're casted out, and all of a sudden the community leaves them just because of a belief. It doesn't matter how kind or how this person has been there for others, you know what I'm saying? But they would rather support someone that does not give a care about them because of their belief system, right? That does not care about anything at all. And it's because there's a belief in nihilism. There's a belief that there's no chance. And it becomes this doom and gloom idea of what is just one part of it. There's aliveness, there's doom and gloom. What's in between that? Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I'm seeing too, is like, I don't know that I might ever, go out and speak. I don't think so, but I don't know. But the thing is more that to me, it's enough that there is someone like you here right now.
Oh, but in your own way, in your even,
In my own way with my
yeah,
friends,
with
like
your friends, yeah,
I
yeah,
definitely, but even there, I was like yesterday with my friend, and I said, just listen, or my husband, it's just he so enjoys, and it's like it's it doesn't have to be this difficult
no,
way, and the sooner we understand that you're here. That's all I can say. You're here.
yeah, yeah,
You've always been this way, and why challenge
yeah,
anything that you say,
yeah,
because I didn't know that people would do that. And I was going like, it's not necessary even to doubt the moment that you don't have this incredible way of bringing someone. And then if you then want to go back to one of these meetings,
yeah.
which is what I kind of tried, I couldn't quite because it was definitely too many words all of a sudden.
Yeah, it
Really,
becomes really confusing, right? And
and
it's
even
almost like you have to learn the language, and you have to believe what they're saying, right? Because it's almost like, it's um and and you don't question it anymore, because
it's
that
some
becomes the truth, right? Because whoever has the message, but that's just another myth. You believe in the myth of the message, and it's just a repackaged version of the truth, but it's a subjective truth.
it's an unlearn. I mean, for me, it was just 2-3 weeks of an conscious choice in a
Yeah,
moment, even though we're not doing this, but it's like there was a choice where I said to you, I guess I just gotta sober up, and you said, do,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
was
Yeah,
and I was like, what does that mean? And in the beginning I was like, oh my God, where's my coffee? Where's my this? Kind of, but it was like so instant. I didn't have to go there anymore. And it was such a
yeah,
freedom. This was the liberation, the true liberation, that
yeah.
it's now like it's becoming yours, and however that will be, and there's a beauty in that. You don't need to be afraid. And if you need to be in the community,
Yeah, that's true.
absolutely. It's okay. It's totally okay if that speaks to you again, or
Yeah,
but it's definitely, there's so many words and they point in so many ways,
that's true. That's true.
and then having a
Hang on for
moment.
a second, okay, Manuel?
Yeah.
Just a
Sure.
moment. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, sorry. My doggy's here. You want to see my doggy?
Oh yeah, let me see her.
Have you seen my doggy before?
I think I did. Oh my God, she's so big now. She's so beautiful.
See her little tongue there?
Oh my God, she just grew so much.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
she's so sweet. Is
Yeah.
that Ella, right?
It's Ella Bella, yeah.
Ella.
Yeah.
She is Bella for sure.
Yeah, she's so cute.
Oh
You
my
know what?
goodness.
She's so good. And that's what I'm saying, right? Like look at the nature of things where the trees, the dogs, right? And it's just so clear if you look at that of how they're just so direct. And then
Oh, that,
somehow we learn the language that makes us suffer.
yeah,
We learn of a reality based on a language that's made up.
yeah,
And then now we believe other people's message or language that's made up.
yeah,
The message is made up. And then we
yeah,
believe something that's made up and we think that that's what we follow now. That's the truth now, right? And we create this delusion. And then that's when I started seeing people started suffering from the so-called message. I was like, I don't want to be complicit to this, right? And I'm going to, because if there's clarity, it doesn't matter what language, right? It should not be language based. The clarity is something that we can't talk about. The clarity without words, because kind of like what I said when I started speaking, I'm like, there's a clarity here that I was, that I can't speak about, and I was afraid I was just going to muddy it, and that's why I didn't speak. And then what, I accidentally and reluctantly I started speaking about this. Remember that time when we first met? I was not even speaking publicly. I was just doing one-on-ones,
yeah.
right? Because I was just really I just there's a lot of suffering in seeking, and if I can even just be a friend to that person, but not the wanting to, not the expectation of popping or whatever. But what was happening was there was a lot of people, and I was quite amazed. I'm like, oh my goodness, there's something here that's happening. And and then accidentally, when someone didn't show up as a speaker, I had to take over. I was with Nothing Media at that time, right? So thank you, Manuela, for being there from the very, very beginning, right? Of the non-duality thing.
Thank
Because
you. Thank
yeah,
you. I mean,
yeah,
we came to you when we had a certain moment, right? And we go like, oh, where are we going from here? And then from then it was that. And I'm so grateful that I witnessed all of you, because there
yeah,
was definitely moments where I go like, I could feel the personality still there from you too,
yeah,
a lot. And then when when this directness came, it was just so clear. It's just this. It's not difficult, and it's not something that it's if someone is open for this,
yeah.
it's definitely easy to be able to not make it into a secretive way or anything.
Yeah, not
It's just,
not put any
you know,
barriers or boundaries to it, and and respect all of the speakers and teachers that came along before, right?
exactly.
Because it's just because
Absolutely.
the moment that or also, but at the same time being blunt and honest about what it is, but
Totally.
also seeing the innocence in what seemingly have caused a lot of people to believe in the next and believe in whatever that's being said, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's an era of just openness, directness, right? And rather than being inclusive and secretive and having an authority figure lording, and judging people, um that's an old structure that needs to fall apart, right? And
Mhm.
also being compassionate to all of the speakers and grateful for that structure, but it's not, how do I say it in a way, but it's not clear anymore. That's muddy.
For some, it might be super clear, and
Yeah,
bless that
that's
too.
true. Yeah, bless that too. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And for some, like for this one, it's been, oh my god, like it's
yeah,
such a relief to finally allow it
yeah,
to be this way and to really feel it.
yeah.
And yeah, I'm very grateful, and I'm very, I'm not here like I need to come back and back and back, but I come back as a friend. I really feel in friendship, and
Oh,
probably what is
it's
clear
been
that,
4 years, right, since we last met.
yeah,
Yeah, wow,
it's
wow.
been that way. But if I want to say, maybe, like when we go into the bigger meetings, it's also, there is friendship, there is love, there
Oh
is
yeah, yeah,
super
yeah,
beautiful in there too. And I think it's all okay. However,
Yeah.
there's no wrong or right the
Yeah.
way anybody's doing it. I just want to really say that
Yeah.
this that happened to me, and this is how it came to a new life inside of me, that I
Oh,
don't feel like I don't have to be attached to these meetings all the time anymore. And everything that was pre needed to be also, because otherwise maybe this couldn't have happened this
that's
way.
right. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
want to say that very clearly, please, for anybody who hears this. I'm not saying you need to not do what you're doing, do
Yeah.
whatever, and know
Yeah.
there might be also something like this, and you can give it a try or not. And I don't want to put any speaker down, never
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Anybody, that was not my thing. It's just a personal reflection of where I am with
Yeah.
everything. So thank you
Oh,
so.
thank you. Thank you, Manu. I love you.
I love you too, and
All
we'll
right.
be in touch again.
Oh, thank you. Much love.
Much love. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, love.
Bye, love.